What's up everyone, welcome back to the channel and welcome to another first drive review. Today I'm in France, invited by Skoda Sweden to test drive their new SUV, the Skoda KAMIQ. And because this is yet another press drive, I have very limited time with the car. Today I drove it for about 4 or 5 hours and tomorrow I have 2 more hours to go. I'm gonna try to structure this video in such a way that you get as much information as possible. First, I'm gonna tell you what's what with this new car, why is it here and what's its target audience. Then we're gonna do a quick walk around the inside and the exterior of this car. Then we're gonna go through all the engines you're gonna be able to order on the new Skoda KAMIQ or KAMIQ, whatever it's called. I still have no idea. Fourth, we're gonna list some of the tech you can have on this car, and finally we're gonna take it out on the road and see how it drives. So the new KAMIQ is basically Skoda's third SUV in their lineup, and it's also the smallest one they have. It's based on the same platform as the Skoda Scala, and as you can see by its quite funky design, it's clearly aimed towards younger people or younger families. It brings a lot of new stuff from the Skoda brand, so without further ado, let's do a quick walk around inside and out. So, the exterior. Basically the biggest change between this car and all the other Skodas in the Czech manufacturer's lineup is the new front end design, and more specifically the way the headlights look. As you can see on top here we have 4 LED running lights, which, if I understood correctly, are supposed to be standard on all trim levels. And then down here we have the regular low beam and the high beam that you see in all other cars. Otherwise, the car mostly follows the design language of its bigger brothers. The example I'm driving today features a so-called dynamic package that adds some silver design elements on the outside that go pretty well with the black color in which the car is painted. Then we have the sport chassis with adaptive dampers that lowers the ride height by 10 mm, 17-inch wheels and an electrically powered tailgate. Boot space is pretty good, same goes for the interior space, and 2 adults can travel comfortably in the back seats. In the front we have these sport seats which are quite comfortable, a sporty flat bottom steering wheel, and basically the same dashboard layout as the one in the Skoda Scala. Materials are pretty good, ergonomics are on point, and overall this is a really good interior for this kind of a car. Now before we move on to the next section, I want to show you a bit of a different interior spec on this car. It's got the same 1-liter TSI producing 115 horsepower, same 6-speed manual, but different interior. This has the white fabric roofs and it has the regular seats that are basically dressed up in leather and Alcantara in the middle here. They're quite cool, although I think the sport seats are a bit more comfortable. The side bolsters on these ones I'm not sure about. But anyway, I wanted to show you a different spec of interior. But yeah, it's also a different trim design here. Brushed aluminum, sort of, I guess. But that's kind of it, let's move on. You have the option to spec a fully digital instrument cluster on your KAMIQ. The infotainment/navigation system is touchscreen, it works pretty well, and it also has wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto integrated into it. Then you have the adaptive cruise control, heated seats front and back, heated steering wheel, and a couple more things worth mentioning. Skoda's very own assistant. Hey Laura!
How can I help?
2 USB-C ports in the back, 2 in the front, and the wireless charging dock that can actually fit my Note 9, unlike the one in the Skoda Kodiaq. Lane assist, rear assist, side assist, rear traffic alert, and front assist. Okay, so engines. I've got my cheat list from Skoda here. There's basically three options. There's the 1-liter TSI petrol engine that comes with two power outputs, a 95 horsepower version and the 115 horsepower which I've been driving for these past couple of days. The 95 horsepower engine can only be spec'd with a 5-speed manual transmission, while the 115 horsepower one can be spec'd with a 6-speed manual, the one I've been driving, and with a 7-speed automatic DSG transmission. A 1.5 TSI version is coming next year. It's gonna feature a 4-cylinder turbocharged engine that's capable of producing 150 horsepower. We couldn't test that today because, as I said, it's coming next year. And then finally we also have a diesel version, 1.6 TDI, that can produce 115 horsepower. Both of these two engines, the 1.5 TSI and 1.6 diesel, can be spec'd with either a 6-speed manual or a 7-speed DSG. And finally we have the 1-liter G-Tech engine. It's sort of the eco-friendly version that Skoda is offering for the KAMIQ. It can only be spec'd with a 6-speed manual and it can produce 90 horsepower. But that's it as far as engines are concerned. So the car I've decided to take out for a quick spin is equipped with a 1-liter turbocharged petrol engine, a 3-cylinder unit that can produce 115 horsepower and 200 Newton meters of torque. And I think this is going to be the best seller of the range. This engine works quite well around town. It has quite a lot of torque low down in the rev range, perfect to just squeeze out of intersection and roundabouts. And it's also quite economical. I've been driving around for like 4 or 5 hours, maybe even more, and the fuel gauge has barely moved from the full position. But the thing that I like the most about this engine is how quiet it is. I'm really impressed by that because I think the Skoda Scala I drove a couple of months ago was quite a bit noisier than this car. The gearbox is the 6-speed manual, is the only one that I found available. All the cars with the DSG transmission were already taken, but it's actually a pleasant gearbox to use, even around town. So if you don't want to pay the extra for the quite fabulous DSG box, you'll be just fine with this one. The clutch is light, the shifts are not notchy at all, so it's just fine. Driving position is also good. You don't sit high up like in an SUV. It may look tall-ish from the outside, but when you're inside, it's just like you're driving a regular hatchback. But visibility is great all around. Skoda has fitted this car with these massive windows all around. The seats are super comfortable and they hold you in place very well. I did some hill climbing on the mountains with this car. I couldn't help it because in Sweden we don't really have the opportunity to drive on mountain roads very often, at least not in the Stockholm area. But anyway, they're very comfortable and they have great side support. Other than that, there's nothing really special to report. The suspension is comfortable, as you would expect from such a car. Steering is light and easy to maneuver. I think it's a great city car overall. But that's been it for today's video, my friends. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Please give it a thumbs up if you have. It helps out the channel a lot. Thank you to Skoda Sweden for inviting me to France to test out the car. Thank you guys for watching. And make sure to subscribe for plenty more videos to come. And until next time, take good care of yourselves. And I'll see you around.